Sit down. I already poured your drink. No, leave the staff where it is. It can stand by the door. It's earned that. Look at you. White vest gone gray at the shoulders. In Japan, they sell that vest to pilgrims at the very first temple, and they'll tell you, folded into a remark about the weather, what it really is. Burial clothes, you dress for your own funeral before you take the first step. 1,000 kilometers, 88 temples. And if the road takes you, you're already dressed for it. You walked the whole thing, didn't you? The Shikoku Henro, 1,200 years old. Then why does a finished man look so unfinished? Drink, then start where every pilgrim starts, the shop where they hand you your shroud.
I went to Japan to walk. That was all I wanted. Not the temples, not the religion, not whatever a person is supposed to find on a pilgrimage. I'd reached an age where the things I'd built had quietly come apart. A marriage, a career, the version of myself I'd assumed I would always be. And I didn't want to talk about any of it. I wanted to walk until my legs hurt more than the rest of me. A man in a guest house in Tokushima told me about the Henro, the 88 temples of Shikoku, a 1,000-kilometer loop around the smallest of Japan's 4 main islands, walked for 1,200 years in the footsteps of the monk Kukai. Most people drive it now, temple to temple. 2 days instead of 2 months? A few still walk. He said it kindly, the way you'd describe a hard thing to someone who looked like he needed one. I bought the outfit at the first temple, the white vest, which they wear so that if you die on the road, you are already dressed for burial. He told me that lightly, folded into a sentence about the weather. That's how they tell you the dark things there. The conical straw hat, the wooden staff, and on the staff, written in black brushstrokes, 4 characters. I asked the woman at the temple shop what they meant. Dogyo Ninin, she said. 2 travelers, 1 path. 1 bate. I was alone. I said so. She smiled and touched the staff. Kobo Daishi walks with you. The Daishi is always the second traveler. Even when you walk alone. She patted my hand, the way you reassure a child. You are too. I liked that at the start. It's a kind thing to tell a man who has come a very long way to be alone. The walking was everything I'd wanted. Shikoku in autumn is cedar forest and terraced rice and roads that climb in a cloud and come down into villages where the vending machines hum at the edge of fields. The temples were old and mossed and worn smooth by 1,200 years of hands. I learned the rituals badly and performed them anyway. Wash the hands, ring the bell, the candle, the incense, the slip of paper with your name on it dropped in the box. Within a week, I'd fallen into the body of it. I learned the small liturgy of the road, the little red pilgrim signs nailed to telephone poles, pointing the way countless feet had already found. I ate convenience store rice balls sitting on guardrails. I slept in pilgrim lodges that smelled of tatami and old wood. For the first time in years, I was almost entirely empty, and it was the nearest thing to peace I'd felt since the things came apart. And I learned about osettai. The local people give things to pilgrims, a can of warm coffee, a tangerine, a 1,000 yen note pressed into your hand by an old woman who bows and will not let you refuse. It's an offering, the guest house man had explained, not to you, through you, to the daishi who walks with you. You are never given to as yourself. You are given to as the two of you. An old farmer stopped his little white truck on a mountain road to hand me 2 persimmons, still cold from the morning, and pressed his palms together and bowed before he drove off. And I understood even then that he had not been bowing to me. A child ran out of a house with a juice box held in both hands, gave it to the air just to my left, looked up at that air, not at my face, said something soft, and ran back inside. I told myself it was shyness. I told myself a great many things on that road. And the road let me, the way it lets everyone, right up until it doesn't.
That custom is real, by the way, osettai. You'll find it nowhere else in Japan. Gifts pressed into a stranger's hands, and refusing is not permitted. But understand what you are handed. The offering was never for you. It passes through you to the one who walks with you. The child knew where to look.
I noticed the footsteps somewhere around the 10th temple. Not all the time. On the mountain stretches, the long, empty climbs where the forest closes over the path, and the next pilgrim might be a day ahead and a day behind. A second set of footfalls behind me, soft on the packed earth, keeping my pace. The first few times I turned around, the path was empty, and I thought, the way you do, that it was an echo off the cedars, or my own pulse, or the staff's rhythm doubling in my tired head. But an echo does not lag. When I stopped to drink, the footsteps behind me took one more step, one, and then stopped. Always one more. As if whatever walked behind me was attending to my movements half a beat late, the way a polite guest waits to see that the host has truly halted before halting too. I remembered the staff, Dogyo Ninin, two travelers, and I'm not too proud to say that for a while, it comforted me. Out there in the cedar dark, something walked behind me and matched my pace and meant me no harm. A man who has lost the people who walked beside him will take what company he is given. I keep records. It's a habit from the career I no longer have. The pilgrim carries a nokyocho, a book in which each temple inks its red seal and brushes the date in black so that by the end you hold the whole route in your hands. 88 stamps in order. I'm the sort of person who counts his stamps. Every night I would lay the book open and count. At the 44th temple, I counted 45 stamps. I assumed I'd miscounted. Then I assumed the temple had stamped twice. Then I turned the pages slowly under the lamp and found, between the seal of the 43rd temple and the 44th, a stamp I did not remember receiving, the same red ink. The date brushed in black, but not in the clean hand of the temple priests. Older? The strokes thicker. Characters of a kind I'd seen only on the very oldest stones, and the date it gave was not a date from this autumn. I told myself a previous pilgrim's stamp had been left in it, but I'd bought the book new, sealed in plastic. At the first temple, I'd watched the woman peel the wrapper off, and the seal belonged to no temple on the route, a temple between temples, a number that does not exist. That was also the night the guest house owner, ladling rice, asked me a question I have heard many times since. Ofutari de? For the two of you? I was alone at the table. I said so. She nodded, smiling, set down two bowls and bowed, not to me, to the empty cushion across from me, and went back to her kitchen before I could say anything at all. I ate both bowls. I don't know why I tell you that, except that it's true, and it has stayed with me. I sat in a quiet country kitchen and ate the rice set out for someone I could not see, and it did not feel like madness while I did it. It felt like manners. That's the thing no one warns you about. It doesn't arrive as horror. It arrives as courtesy, as custom, as the small, reasonable accommodations a polite guest makes, until one day you look up and find you've been accommodating it for 1,000 kilometers.
A no-kyucho doesn't lie. That's its whole purpose. Each temple inks its seal in red, brushes the date in black, proof, page by page, that you were where you say you were. 88 temples, in order. There is no temple between the 43rd and the 44th. There hasn't been for 1,200 years. Go on.
After that, I started to notice the others. You meet the same faces on the road over weeks. The henro is a loop, and the walkers move at roughly the same pace. So you pass and are passed, you nod. You share a bench at a rest hut. But there were certain pilgrims I only ever saw walking. White-clad, hatted, ahead of me on the long stretches. Never closer, never farther. I never overtook them. I never saw them stop. Never at a temple performing the rituals, never at a lodge at night, never eating, never resting, never turning around. I tried once to catch one, a long straight stretch of valley road, flat and empty, a white figure perhaps 200 meters ahead. I walked faster, then faster. Then I was doing something close to running, the staff clattering, the hat slipping off my head, the pack slamming against my spine, and the distance did not close by a single meter. The figure didn't hurry. It didn't need to. When I finally stopped, bent double in the middle of the empty road, it stopped too, stood a moment with its back to me, not turning. Then it walked on, and the 200 meters began again. I did not try to catch one after that. Then the numbers stopped behaving. I walked a full day from the 51st temple toward the 52nd. The guidebook said 5 hours, and arrived at dusk at a temple whose number board read 51. The same temple. The priest had inked its seal that morning. I had not doubled back. The road does not double back. When I walked on, the 52nd came after an hour. The distances had come loose from the days. I tried once to quit, to turn around, walk off the loop, find a train station, a city, a flight home. I walked back along a road I had walked that same morning. I remembered the leaning torii, the vending machine with the broken light, and where there had been open road between two villages, there was now a small temple. Mossed, old, worn smooth. On its board a number the route does not have. I stood in front of it a long time. Then I turned around and walked on, in the only direction the road seemed willing to offer, which was forward, which was around. I understand it now, and I'll say it plainly once. I keep records. This is the last one. Kukai, the Daishi, did not die. That's not how the faithful say it. They say he entered Nyujo, eternal meditation. That he is not dead but sitting even now, 1200 years on, in the inner sanctuary on his mountain. Waiting, the pilgrims of Shikoku do not walk to honor a dead man. They walk with a living one. Dogyo ninin. Two travelers. The Daishi is always the second. But a thing that has walked that loop for 1200 years, behind every pilgrim who ever set out, matching every pace, accepting every offering held out to the empty air. A thing like that does not stay the second traveler forever. The white figures ahead of me, who never stop and never turn and never finish, they are not honoring the route. They are the ones who came before. No one closes the loop. You walk until you are no longer the one being walked behind. I noticed it 3 temples ago. The soft second tread that had followed me for 1,000 kilometers was gone from behind me. I felt its absence the way you feel a fever break. And on the next long mountain stretch I saw, far up the path, at that fixed, unbridgeable distance, a figure in white, walking my pace, never closer, never turning. I have not heard anything behind me since. Last night I laid the book open under the lamp and turned to the end. The 88th seal, the completion. And beneath it, freshly brushed, a name. In characters I don't know how to write, in a hand I have never owned. It was mine. There's a new walker on the road this week. Foreign, like me, alone, like me, white vest too clean, staff too new. I've passed him twice on the long stretches. He keeps looking back over his shoulder and finding the path empty and frowning and walking on. I don't look back anymore. There's no need. The staff still says 2 travelers. I'm the first one now.
He left before dawn. He didn't finish the drink. Walkers rarely do. They only stop the way that figure stopped on the valley road, for a moment, with their back to you, before going on. Here's the part one didn't tell him. What he said about Kukai, the eternal meditation, that isn't a legend tucked away in some old book. On Mount Kōya, there is a mausoleum called Okunoin, and every morning for 1,200 years, at 6 and again at 10:30, monks have carried meals up the stone path to a man who entered his silence in the year 835. They cook for him every day, rain, war, centuries. They are quite certain he is still there. It may be the longest unbroken act of hospitality in the world, and every gift handed to every pilgrim on that island is addressed to him. 2 travelers, 1 path. The Japanese wrote down every rule of that road, every ritual, every courtesy. They never wrote down what happens when the second traveler gets tired of walking behind. So, you with the drink. When you walk home tonight, on the street you've walked 1,000 times, count the footsteps. If they stop when you stop, that's an echo. If they take one more step, just one, I'd like to hear about it. Leave it below. I'll be here. I always am. Both of you are welcome, by the way.